You're locked into Blue Snot, the Leafs playoff pulse in real time. This ain't the same soft squad from years past. These Leafs are hard-hitting, shot-blocking, sandpaper strong, and built for the grind. Defensive tone-setting swagger locking it down. This team fights back. And the crease? A stellar duo of flashing leather. Strong forecheck, no free ice. Watch what happens when the big guns get loose. The playoffs are here. And the question isn't if they're tough enough. It's how deep this grit can take them. Let the snot drip.
You know, we need a little bit more snot to our game. And I think they both bring a little bit of that. So we felt it was good to issue. I think there's a, you know, when you get into, as much as the game's changed, some things have never changed. At the most important times, the rink shrinks. There's no space. You need courage, and we wanted to, you know, we wanted to add players like that. We've got really high level, and I think we've got a ton of them in this room. You know, that you need character in your team, and sometimes you need some characters. You know, it's not all fighting and all the rest of it, but I just felt, you know, both on the ice and in our room and around our team, we need a little bit more noise.
The past is the past. This is a different group. Every year there's new people. Every year you've got experiences from, you know, the year past. So that's what we're focused on right now. We're focused on this group of players, things that we've done here this year, and all that now gets parked. You know, you say at the beginning of the season, everybody starts from zero. Same thing now. Everything that's happened in the 82 games is to prepare you for what's coming next. But none of it is relevant, and none of it gives you any kind of leg up starting Sunday. So what's happened before is what's happened before, and now we're ready to let a new chapter.
To the corner, puck is knocked away from him and out to center. Here's Amadio along the boards, tips it down to the Leaf line and in as Pinto tried to center it for Ridley Gray. Leafs now ahead to center. Domi back to the neutral zone again on the wing. Nylander tips it in, out of the net. Clear to the corner, and Shabbat drops it back. Jensen along the boards. As the Leafs throwing some checks. And every little bump brings the crowd to life here in Toronto.
The team's fairly even in hits per game as the Senators get called for icing throughout the regular season. Ottawa fourth in the hits per game department at 25.5 on average per game. The Leafs not that far off at 23.7. Clearly, the mentality from the hometown team here is get the crowd in early, whether it be with a solid hit or a scoring chance. Still no shots on goal through the first 111 of this hockey game.
Puck is faced off and not done cleanly, so they blow it dead, and Pinto and Lawton will line up again as the former Flyer faces Pinto.
Faceoffs have been fairly even throughout the regular season as well. Toronto wins this one.
Off the drop, Benoit fires it in, and that's deflected in front of the Ottawa nets. Put up into the glass. Puck chipped back along the boards in the corner by Jensen, but not out. Here's Lawton, sends a shot in from a bad angle and misses. Back to the point. Simon Benoit holds it in. Along the boards, Lawton turns and fires. That's knocked down before it gets to the net. Puck comes out, and once again, puck chipped off the boards, back out to center. As Amadio clears it out, then he takes contact. Lead pass to the line and coming across ice. Lorentz and Matt and Palo bang with each other. And back of his own net, here is Shabbat. He'll move this puck and then get off the ice as the puck is down to the Leaf line, but turned back the other way quickly. Shabbat can't get off. Swings it down into the Ottawa zone, and here's Matt and Palo to get it to the corner. Puck is sent ahead and out to center. The puck is cleared ahead by Highmore, but not out.
Greg Berube hockey here right now. Every Leaf is involved physically here. They are playing a high-intensity physical game.
Lead pass to the line for Gaudette off his stick, and Stolars clears it to the corner. Here's Carlo with it. He's put into the boards by Gaudette, and that forces him to ice the puck and to face off back down in the Toronto zone.
All right, seeing the early stages of jitters on the big stage, certainly from Adam Gaudette. 2 touches of the puck and both passes We're tape to tape, and both passes went off his stick. A little bit of the gripping the stick too tightly for some of these young players. As mentioned earlier, Dean, 12 Ottawa players in the lineup tonight making their playoff debuts.
Off the draw, back to the point. Clevin with a shot. That's knocked down before it gets to the net. Stützle gets on it, throws it towards the net. Morgan Riley knocks it away. Here's Stützle. Shovels it back in the corner. Riley back up the boards. Held in, and there's a shot knocked away by Stolarz. After a tip play, back to the net. Here's Giroux. Tries to swing it back in front. Knocked away from him and Holmstrom. Clears it back out to center. Back in the zone end. Clevin to Matt and Powell up to center. Brady Tkachuk dumps the puck down inside the Toronto end.
That icing call, Dean, the Senators won a line matchup. They got their top line out there. That's still out there now, and Stützle's got a turnover.
Gets a shot away, and the save is made by Stolarz. Have a good release from Tim Stützle.
It's amazing how the play can carry over from one line change to the next. The Senators' top line stayed out there. The Leafs were able to clear the zone and get their top line out, and Craig Berube will see him do this, top line against top line, but the Leafs turned the puck over outside their blue line, and a quick counter with short ice with which to work for Tim Stützle results in Ottawa's first shot on goal, and a good save made by the chest of Anthony Stolarz. Face off to his right.
Ridley Gray kicked out of the circle, so Pinto will come in and take the draw. This game brought to you in part by Bean Chevrolet Buick GMC in Carlton Place and by Gabriel Pizza. Off the draw, Leafs control.
Tavares won it cleanly, and Domi will drop it off to the defense and pass ahead for Nylander. Nylander circles it now, cuts through the neutral zone and gets it in off the wing that Tavares couldn't handle the pass. Puck comes back into the Toronto end. Stolarz swinging it around the boards to find Domi, who let it go, and it comes all the way out at center ice. Nick Jenkins laying it back to the line and in. It goes wide of the goal and into the side of the net. Domi missed a hit there from Perron. Puck is in the... Domi is able to skate it out. Domi trying to get it ahead, had to go off a stick.
In and in. Perron gets in. There's a shot by Cousins right on, and the save is made by Stolarz.
I think that was offside, Dean, but play on.
I do too. Sanderson to Zub. Zub with a shot. Pad save is made. Loose puck in front, steered to the corner by Domi. Back along the boards, McCabe gets it to a friendly stick, and now Domi airmails it back out to center. Perron knocks it down as he ties up along the boards with Tavares. That allows Cousin to throw about 4 cross-checks into the ribs of Tavares. Leafs dump it in. Benoit does. Here's Sanderson. Dumps it back to the corner. And Pinto with it now. Chips the puck ahead. Back out to the neutral zone. Ridley Gregg to the line. Tries to break in but loses the puck, and now Nyes steers it to a teammate. Matthews to center. Right side to Nyes. Nyes flips it around Sanderson. Goes to the corner. Here's Matthews with it now out of the other corner. Stops, turns, fires. Save is made by Ullmark. And he holds on, and Nyes and Sanderson meet up at the side of the net for the first time.
Good pace to this hockey game. Shots are 3-1 favoring the Senators. First shot on goal for the Leafs comes 4 minutes and 31 seconds into this hockey game, and it's an easy glove save from Linus Ullmark, and the shot was taken from Auston Matthews. Senators gave him a little bit of ice in the right face-off circle, and Matthews took advantage of it. Coming off a 78-point season for Auston Matthews, and a career high, or tied a career high in 45 assists, but down quite low from his 69 goal total last year to 33 this year.
Face out to the right of Ullmark. Stützle will come in and take the draw. Giroux was in there but got kicked out off the face-off. Jensen tries to clear it. Didn't work, but Brady Tkachuk to center. Knocked down to the line by Stützle. Goes in to get it. Tanev in there. And Giroux puts the shoulder in on him. Tkachuk keeps it alive in the zone. Here's Giroux in the corner. Gets spun around. Tkachuk knocks it down. Fires it to the net. Misses. From the point, Jensen to the corner. Stützle cycles it back. Tkachuk tried to one-touch it to Giroux. Tried to give it back. Puck lying in front of the Leaf goal. And now finally Marner just lobs it back out to center and down to the Ottawa line. Both teams changing, and now here's Chabot to center. Bouncing the puck ahead to the line. Swept in by Perron. But the Leafs with control now as it's sent ahead back out to center. And coming through the middle. Batherson gets a hold of the puck, but as the Leafs enter, it is offside. So Thomas Chabot takes that opportunity to give Morgan Riley a little shot as he wandered in and was the puck carrier in the offside play.
Well, there are certain players on both teams that know they are going to be targeted more.
Stats. Joey, when you look at it, Ottawa's won 5 straight against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Against Ottawa in this building, October 15th, 2022. Justin Hall had the game-winning goal. And Jurriel Elias Samsonov picked up the... So Ottawa, I don't think, comes in feeling like they can't win against this team or in the...
Played down into the Toronto end. Clevin got it up on the wing, and it'll escape the center ice. Holmberg playing it back in his own. And up on the wing it comes and in over the line. Pontus Holmberg with a shot, and that goes off his... Nice job by Adam Gaudette to get back into the lane there, Dean. He got his stick blade right in as Pontus Holmberg took that shot. That one sailed high over Linus Ullmark's blocker side and into the safety netting here. So we get a face-off. Again, offensive zone draw for the Leafs to the right of Linus Ullmark. Face-off so key for both of these hockey clubs, and both ranked very, very equally.
Off the drop, puck cleared off the glass all the way back down ice by Zub. That play whistled down, and we'll get another face-off back down again inside the Ottawa zone. And the
Center ice, this is going to go the length of the rink. And they'll do it all over again from the circle in the Ottawa end of the building. Leafs are in 13-2-1. Down the stretch they come. Secretariat with a 19-length lead. Wrong sport.
Yeah, you know when that started, though? After their loss against Ottawa here.
Yes.
The 4-2. And that Leafs went on that roll. That helped them get first place in the division.
And home ice. Riley playing it to the line. Couldn't get it in deep. Drake Batherson turns for Ottawa. Got it to the line, but it is deflected and goes into the Toronto bench and out of play. But it is a different animal. Regular season.
Yeah. Last year, only 4 teams in the playoffs were above 500.
This Leaf stream keeps dropping.
Including
I have to keep listening to the Ottawa stream.
No score, first period.
Fries and unlimited pop for $13.99.
It's all good. No problems. Go Leafs go. We'll be right back with more.
And 9 seconds, and it's been fast-paced. And folks, back in Ottawa, it's noisy in here.
what?
Well, it's noisy in here, Dean. That's the hint.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. What?
The soundtrack of Canadian Tire Center on Thursday of next week, or of this week, coming up, has to be matched.
Leafs dump the...
Brady Tkachuk getting a stick in the way of goaltender Stolarz. That
created a bit of fun. A centering pass for Nyes as it's down in the Ottawa zone is broken up, and the Senators bring it to the line and in. A pass in by Giroux to the corner, comes back to the point. A long shot, gloved out of the air with Kachuk on the doorstep by Anthony Stolarz.
It's going to be interesting to see the line match that Craig Berube prefers. We've seen the Matthews line out against the Stützle line on a fairly regular basis early on. There, Zub, a one-timer from the point with Kachuk trying to provide the screen in front of Stolarz, but the Leaf goalie was able to peek away and snag it up with his left hand.
Draw to his left, no score. Puck one into the corner by the Maple Leafs, played up on the boards. It bounces into the slot, stolen back by Lawton, played ahead on the far boards then by the Leafs to get it out into the center ice area. Played ahead by Nick Jensen, who sends it into the Toronto end. Chipped around the boards then by Benoit, who crashes into his man on the far side, and Dylan Cousins, and the Leafs break it out at center. Here's the line, brought in over the line now, looking pass in front of the net, shot down!
That's right. Oh, yeah.
The first goal of this series.
How do you like the line acquisition so far?
Like I said, I mean, they were good. Back-to-back games coming in.
Long shooting is gloved by Stolarz.
And there was the game-winning goal in Buffalo that Lawton set up Steven Lorenz, and of course Lawton had the game-winning goal in overtime in the final game. So little things at the time, you say, well, that's nice if it can carry over. And we've seen that fourth line look dangerous here in the first 7 minutes of this game.
Oliver Ekman-Larsson had 4 goals and 25 assists for 29 points in the regular year. But he scores the opener here for the Maple Leafs. They lead it 1-0. Tavares going to face off here with Shane Pinto. Now the linesman is moved in there for some reason. Draw one by Toronto. Puck's pushed back in the net for Morgan Riley, but he gave the puck away in a shot. Good block made there. Another shot taken in, and it's cleared up on the wing. Domi will just ice it high to the far boards and get it down into the Ottawa end. Puck comes back out at center ice now, and Tavares back in for Domi. Domi had it knocked off his stick, regains it momentarily, but Amadio will play it down into the Toronto zone. Lawton and Yarncrook with the assists. And it wasn't so many weeks ago that we were bemoaning the fact that the Leafs were not getting any secondary scoring. Well, that has changed. Pass off a stick into the Toronto end. Benoit circles the goal, being but the forechecker falls, and now Robertson flipping it into the left wing corner. Now a shot by McMahon went high and wide, and it's caromed all the way back down in Toronto end. Benoit looking over the shoulder, has the puck controlled and got it ahead for Robertson, and he makes a good decision to just get it high to get a change of players going. Now here's Giroux in over the line, brought back now with a puck in the slot area for along the far boards for Stützle, back to the point of shot, blockered away and knocked away by goaltender Stolarz, and the Leafs will get it out at center ice. Are you keeping track of the hits, Mr. Ruff? There's a shot by Shabbat. That went wide. Rebound back of the goal. Played on the boards for Nyes. Nyes trying to contain it. Took a bit of a hit, but Matthews comes out with the puck and skates it to center ice. With flip it into the near corner. Matthews in with a hit there on Shabbat. Marner crashes into his man Jensen. Puck goes around back of the net. 9 to go, first period. 1-0 Toronto on a goal by OEL Oliver Ekman Larson. Then by Riley around the boards to the far side. Yarncrook kept the puck in, but the Senators get it cleaned up and Perron gets this broken up, and now a pass in on the left wing. Here's Lorenz. Trying to play it in front of the net, a shot right in front of the goal! The goal line. Played around the boards.
That was Yarncroc trying to fish it over the line.
Lawton after it, and now Yarncrook goes after the near boards with it, playing it along the boards. I believe we're hearing sucks chant, just in case you can't really tune in. Set down into the corner. Zone. A long pass to find Max Domi. Domi trying to go to the right wing side to Nylander, but the pass was knocked. Plays it along the boards as it comes back to the point. Trapped there, and a shot by Montepallo went wide. Into the far corner. Taken up by Tanev to Domi. Domi into the traffic, and it's around the boards and out into the neutral zone and down. Nylander up for checking. He's going to get to a loose puck on the far side to keep it in. Okay, hit there from Ridley Gregg, and it is Ottawa. Riley across the line, and the linesman says that was offside. Tyson Baker and Steve. Linesman tonight, Brian Pakmara, Garrett Rank are the referees. 1-0 Toronto. Almost 2 on off the goal post and off the line. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Go Leafs, go. Good one for OEL. Yo, good on Lawton too. I know he's taking a minute. Some Leaf fans might not have liked the acquisition, but we're gonna see what he's about. I liked a few times I've seen him do some things that I like. I can't remember what game it was. I remember him skating by someone and just, knocking his stick out of his hand. Just some little jerk stuff. Usually that stuff happens to the Leafs. It's nice to see a Leaf doing it to somebody else. I'm not talking about like no rat shit, but like, just some jerk, just a little jerk. A little bit of a bully. You know what I mean? I like that. We'll see what else he's got. Good play on the Leafs. The Leafs radio broadcast is running a little slow, so I'm going to flip back and forth with the Ottawa one.
Number 5 in the books. And he goes back into his own zone to pick up the puck to find Benoit. Trying to bat it in over the line was Lorenz. He does now. Lawton with a drive. Oh, and he whistled that just wide. Kept in by OEL in the far into the far corner. Behind the net now for Lorenz. Centering pass went off the skate. Lorenz is going to get it again. Back to the point to OEL. Another shot of the Ottawa goal. Fourth line's been the best line on the ice.
For either team.
Played out at center right now. It's in with a weak wrist shot, and he got drilled before it ended up going up into the screen. Is that
Benoit? So Benoit first gets his stick on the attempted shot, and then just follows through with the right shoulder. I don't know.
Big
which
hit.
got a bigger reaction from the crowd.
I think the hit did, to be honest. You look at last year's roster at this time playing in game one and this year's roster, and you say physical.
Yeah. I mean, you and I are the same on this. People ask, and you have to be honest and say, well, different. If it's better.
Long shot goes well wide of the Leaf goal. Marner chipping it ahead, couldn't get it ahead, denies, and the line for Stützle. Back it goes to Giroux, cutting from a sharp angle of center, and it went back to the point. Chabot doesn't send it at the net, he sends it back. Oh, let it go. Puck comes back to the blue line, knocked down by the Maple Leafs. Ahead, it goes, Marner's got a breakaway.
Breakaway.
He's in a goal.
Just flicks the wrist and puts it over the glove hand of all 2-0 Toronto.
Reverses it for Morgan Riley. And Riley will look up ice with the lead pass to find Johnny Tavares. His feed for Nylander didn't connect, but Nylander. And he'll send it back into his own zone. Now Willie, starting out of his zone, comes to the line with a pass in on the left wing. Pontus far corner. McMahon can't get to it, and it is played out at center ice and in over the line for Zetterlund. Point, but they don't get it out initially. Puck still free, and now here's McMahon pushing it ahead for Robertson. Gets it into the corner. McMahon around back of the net. Looks for a point man. Finds him. McCabe a drive. And that hit him against the wall. Heath gets it freed up. Puck is pushed in along the boards into the corner and then shot down. 6:18 to play in a wild first period. Leafs have had 16 hits in the frame.
The Leafs 9-3, and yet Leafs certainly look more dangerous, haven't they?
Played out it. And over the line with a pass for Lawton. Couldn't get a shot away as he was too well covered. Yarncrook frees it up. But gets it back to the point. D to D, it'll come to Riley, and a shot is into the chest of Omar, who will hold for a finish. This crowd going crazy here at Scotiabank Arena. A 2-0 Toronto lead on goals by Oliver Marner. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
How we feeling, Leafs fans? Like those goals? Marner, huh? Seems the Toronto media and maybe a lot of Leafs fans put a lot of heat on Mitch. See what he does with it. He hit his 100 this year. Feels a bit different, doesn't it?
Mitch Marner in his 58th playoff game.
Might have to switch to the Ottawa audio if the Toronto audio keeps dropping.
Shane Finno getting
Go Leafs, go.
from John Tavares.
Tavares swung the ball, but it goes back to the net. And on the far side, Sean Pinto trying to get it out, had it broken up by Willie. He went to the net hard because he was just getting to the net.
Might have blown the roof off the place.
Oh. To the Ottawa goal into the far corner. Sanderson got it up on the wing for Ridley Gregg. Gregg has it taken away. He did. Nylander gets it freed up. Nylander working back along the blue line. Still with it. Manages to keep it in. Again. And the Senators will go back to regroup. 2-0 Toronto. 4:50 to start. Maybe too many men there, but they get away with it. Slapped into the Ottawa zone. Down the boards, it's chipped into the... Just out of his reach. And out come the Senators to center ice. Giroux can't get in over the line. Marner. Tanev. Ian McCabe will exchange the disc. Tanev has it in front of his own goal. Turns back. Leafs are changing.
Maker for this Leaf team this year.
Yarncroke fires it in the corner. Here's Lawton back to the net, gets tied up. Batherson steals the puck and flips it back the other way to Shabbat. Steers the puck out to center. Cousins tips it ahead. Batherson to the line and in. Gets in, gets a shot. Pad save is made. As Stolars gets the blocker and the pad on it. Stolen back. Pinto back in front. Cousins gets a shot away. Bobble scores! Rebound goal for Batherson.
Oh boy, just
Should have stayed on the other
Really
channel.
harmless looking shot. Stolars gets his left pad on it. And then the puck bounces in front. It's just poked in by Batherson, blocker side. And the Ottawa board. And have sliced the Leafs lead in the half, 2-1 Toronto.
16-16 the top. The regular season, 27 goals and 68 points. Or 26 goals and 68 points, sorry. The Battle of Ontario is now fully engaged. Both teams have scored.
That might settle Ottawa down too, Joe.
The line for McMahon. Senators go back. Clevin given a jolt there by McMahon. Cadet gets it to center and in on the right wing for Zetterlund. Zetterlund driving the net with a shot. A big scramble in front is broken up and out. From behind and tackled. The puck goes in over the line and Pontus Holmberg couldn't quite contain it. Now back of the Ottawa goal. Back to the point, it'll come to Chris Tanev.
Dished off to Domi. Domi's wrist shot off of the net. Knocked down on the play was Pontus Holmberg, and the Sens will get it off a stick. Look out, that's going into the lead bank. Play will be brought back into the center ice area just in front of the Ottawa bench.
Should update that scoreboard, shouldn't I?
The assists on the goal.
Really looked like one that Anthony Stolarz was Morgan Riley as to who was going to play it, but that little hesitation by both allowed Batherson to jump in and poke it on.
But they get the puck down into the Toronto end. Played back of the net and up on the boards now for Nylander. Nylander goes, will get to center and shoot it in. On the far boards, Tavares unable to reach it. Nylander tips it back to the goal. Can't get there. But it's going to go the length of the ice. Now with 2:13 to go in the first period, we have an icing call coming against the...
A rim around by Artem Zub creates this offensive zone face-off again for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And these are all so dangerous. The Leafs have won 56% of the draws. This will be to the right of Linus Ullmark, who's given up 2 goals on 4 shots. Pinto and Matthews at the dot.
Matthews wins the draw back to the point. Here's Marner. High slot. Puck comes back to the point. Ekman-Larsson with a shot. Redirected on the way there, and Ullmark makes the save and again holds on. 2:03 to go in period number 1. And a face-off again. And it'll be this time to the left of the...
Was a winger win there. As Pinto did a nice job to tie up Matthews, but Matthew Nyes came in. Puck got it back to the point, and it eventually got a 60-foot sifter in on Linus Ullmark, who saw it all the way. A nice job was done by both Sanderson and Zub to box out and keep that front of the net clear.
Off the draw, spin around shot by Matthews, doesn't get through.
Somebody lost a blade here. Stützle. Dean off to the bench.
It comes out at center ice, and here's Tkachuk. In on the left wing for Shane Pinto. A backhand shot is stopped. Brady Tkachuk accidentally fell down and bumped into Stolarz. Sure it wasn't intended.
I don't know if that's going to get an Oscar.
No, I don't think
And then Shane Pinto comes in.
Lost an edge, and
Or you know what? I think he may have taken a little stick across the neck, upper chest area from McCabe, and that's what brought him down.
now we'll get a face-off to the right. Well, yeah, I think you might be right, because Claude Giroux's having a word right now with Garrett Rank, and it's not about Garrett's golf game. Face-off will be to the right of Stolarz. Stützle's back out with a new blade.
Well, that is a big question, though, Gord. Which guy on the ice tonight has the better golf game? Is it Drake Batherson, or is it Rank? Now, Rank is actually ranked in Canada, but Drake is a real scratch golfer, not one of those phony made-up handicaps. He actually is a scratch golfer. So, off the draw, Shabbat runs the puck around the boards. Jensen down the other side holds it in. Puck is cleared back out to center, and here's Shabbat. Rolling puck, taps it back to Giroux, gets to center, and lobs it back down inside the Leaf end. Brady Tkachuk to get it. And the Leafs now break it out at center. Here's Ekman-Larsson, takes a drop pass from Marner. Marner gets it back. Marner along the boards as the puck slashed off his stick by Stützle. Stützle tries to dig it out. Lorentz kicks the puck back along the boards, and here's Giroux. Sends the puck ahead, back to the line and out. And the Leafs recovered in the neutral zone again. Benoit fires it in the Ottawa end. Up the boards, back out to center. Final minute of play here in period number 1. Here's Lott through the middle of the ice to Carlo. And Brandon Carlo fires it back in the Ottawa end. Here's Clever. Sends the puck ahead as Yarncroke chops it at him. Puck comes free. Lawton trying to hold it in, and does. Morgan Riley now lobs one to the side of the Ottawa goal. Jensen back of his own net. Comes out with it. Gets it to Cousins. Cousins to the line and in. Puck is knocked down, but not out of the zone. Now it's out of the zone and lying in the neutral zone Nylander trying to get a hold of it. Flips it back into his zone end. And Morgan Riley now skates it back to center. Through the middle of the ice. Tavares sends it to the corner for Domi. Puck is knocked away from him by Zub, and now Sanderson sends it to the line, but not out. Now Ridley Gregg boots the puck ahead, and that'll do it for period one. A 1-goal lead for the Leafs after 20 minutes.
Well, not a bad period for the Ottawa Senators. Despite giving up 2 goals in the first 3 shots, they were the better of the teams physically, or not physically, but in the offensive zone. They clearly had 5 shots on goal in total for physically, but in the offensive zone, they clearly had a shot advantage of 13-5, better scoring
I mean, it was
opportunities.
dropping all the
They
time,
made
but
2 mistakes, though, that the Leafs capitalized on. Only 5 shots on goal in total for the Toronto Maple Leafs in this first period. They will enjoy this 2-1 lead for the next 18 minutes, but then I'm guessing Ottawa will not change a thing, Dean, as far as their offensive zone game time is, or game prep is presented, because they've done a lot of good things right here in this first period.
So at the end of one here at Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, the Leafs with a 2-1 lead. Coming up, our first intermission with Graham and Brad, brought to you by the Myers Automotive Group. You're listening to Sens Hockey on the TSN 1200 Ottawa Senators Radio Network. Pure Water, proudly owned and operated.
gee, it looks like the Leafs feed kept dropping a lot, so I was flipping back and forth between the Leafs feed and the Sens feed. Now the Sens feed is the only feed available. We'll check back in. Enjoy that period. Two Leafs goals were nice. What'd you think of the Sens goal? Like that hit Benoit laid out. Pretty good start.
Yeah, Hurricanes played well today, but Devils are just tough one for them.
What did you see on that first one, a fourth line goal for the Leafs?
Combination on the first one.
Let's go, Maple Leafs, let's go. Let's go, intermission, let's have. Unfortunately, it looks like the Leafs feed is still down. So we still gotta listen to the Ottawa feed.
21 for Toronto, 20 for the Senators. Blocked shots even at 6 apiece. The Toronto Maple Leafs did have the edge in face-offs, though. They won 57% of the draws. Shots on goal, 13-5, favoring the Senators. What do you think of the over/under here, Dean? It started at 5.5, did it not?
She is going up, my friend. Yes, started the game at 5.5 as we entered the second period. Over/under creeping up to 7.5. Reminder, you can make every moment more on FanDuel, North America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel, download the app. It is simple and easy to use.
All right, the Senators went into the locker room down by 1, and it's a one-shot game now. And I got to be honest with you, Dean, I think they felt pretty good about how they played in that first period. The Mitch Marner goal could have been avoided. He had a breakaway from center ice in on a perfect feed from Austin Matthews. It was offensive zone pressure that led to from a point to the point, a turnover on the half boards, and Marner crept out and stuck in between both Jensen and Shabak. Sorry, we're both -2 here in this hockey game. This second is underway with the play-by-play. Here's Dean.
And the Leafs send it down to the other line. Here's Giroux back in his zone, taps it back to the net. And Sanderson turns away from a hit from Nyes and sends it around the boards for Giroux, who clears the puck ahead, and then he gets smoked by McCabe. Back at the other end, Brady Tkachuk puts Matthews into the boards as the puck is sent back out to center and down to the Ottawa line. Here's Zub now. Head to Sanderson. Sanderson gets to the line, dumps it in. But McCabe knocks it down and now clears it down to the Ottawa line for Nyes. He slides the puck into the Ottawa zone. Zub ties up along the boards, and Brady Tkachuk sends it all the way back down ice. This will be an icing call and a face-off back down inside the Senators' end.
Now this is a 49-second shift for Jake Sanderson. He is going to have to remain out. Same for Artem Zub. Brady Tkachuk, the lone member of the Stützle-Giroux trio that's left out there for this defensive zone face-off for the Senators. Pinto against Tavares.
Off the drop, puck to the corner, but Domi first on it. Here's Nylander along the boards. Nylander back to the point. Nylander turns again. Nylander spins off a check from Pinto. Sends it around the boards on the other side. Here's Morgan Riley. Loses the puck. Brady Tkachuk steals it. Tkachuk bury in. Tkachuk hit shot. Save is made by Stolars.
What a great burst of speed from Brady Tkachuk as he heads off here. That's the end of the long shift for him.
Here's Nylander back the other way. Moves in his shot. Off the stick of Ullmark. Back to the net. Nylander gets it again. Bounces the puck to the side of the net. Out the other side. Centering pass knocked down. Tavares denied by a sprawling Ullmark.
Desperation save. Boy, oh boy, that was a dandy from Ullmark.
Puck is dumped down in the Leaf zone. Ridley Gregg sends it to the corner. Ekman Larsson tries to throw a hit on him and wipes himself out. And now back in his own zone. Here's Ben.
Not really. He kind of hit him.
Five-hole try from Brady Tkachuk on the breakaway, Dean, denied by the big pads of Anthony Stolarz.
Clearing attempt by Shabbat fails. There's a quick shot, a high riser from Lorentz that just misses. Off the boards now. Here's Shabbat. To the line and in. Tipped in by Gaudette. McCabe goes in to get it. Zetterlund puts the shoulder into him. Pass back to the point and coming across Clevens. He drives Lorentz off the puck as Matt and Palo back in the zone end. Slides the puck across. There's Cleven back of his own net. Leafs changing. As his Ottawa, so Cleven just waits that out. Now Cleven dishes it off and the puck steered all the way back down ice. Icing waved off as Perron sent it into the Leaf zone off his skate. Holmberg along the boards. Puck is knocked down as it hits the referee in the corner. Now a clearing attempt fails and Perron ends up with it. Back to the point. And there was a shot by Cousins, didn't get through. Another shot, that one from Sanderson, missed high. Puck tipped off the boards, back out to center, and here's Dylan Cousins back in his zone end to get it. Cross to Sanderson, clears the puck through the neutral zone. It is picked up there by Robertson. Morgan Riley now sends a slow roller into the Ottawa zone. Sanderson around the boards, and he takes a good shot there from Bobby McMahon. Here's Sanderson under siege from Morgan Riley, who wins the puck, sends it back in front of the Ottawa goal, now stolen away. Pinto back up ice to Ridley Gregg. Ridley Gregg tries to go back through the middle, and Ekman Larsson breaks it up. Centering pass back to the point. Amadio with a shot. That's blocked by Nice. Back in front. Pinto with a shot. Save is made by Stolarz.
Oh, what a come across from Anthony Stolarz, and two huge saves here in the first 3 minutes and 45 seconds of this period from the Toronto netminder to keep it a 2-1 game and give him a ton more confidence. He stops a point-blank breakaway by Brady Tkachuk in the first minute 15, and then a point-blanker again from 25 feet out by Shane Pinto, and Stolarz collapsed outside the blue paint, square to the puck, and made a beautiful save going from left to right to deny Shane Pinto the equalizer in the early stages of this second period.
Face off to the right of Stolarz. Stutzle in the face-off circle, loses the draw to Scott Lawton. Puck cleared around the boards, but not out. Now it's cleared out, and Shabbat picks it up at his own line. Ahead to Brady Tkachuk, who whips it back down inside the Toronto end. Stolarz back along the boards, but gives it away. And we're going to get a penalty call here, and I believe it's going to go to Tim Stutzle. Penalty call here, and I believe it's going to go to Tim Stutzle. And I don't know exactly what the call is, but we'll find out here momentarily.
Yeah, Garrett Rank keeping us all in mystery.
2 minutes boarding.
2 minutes for boarding. Scott Lawton on the receiving end of that boarding penalty here. And
Boarding penalty? Let's see it. He doesn't sound very convinced.
Tanev on the receiving end of that. Lawton came in to have a few words, I think, for Mr. Stutzle. He did leave his feet, and
Legit call.
I guess so. So power play chance.
He left his feet and hit him into the boards. Just because it wasn't a bad one or one with an injury doesn't mean it's not real. Come on, y'all. Be biased at least. A little biased.
Face off to the right of Ullmark. Tavares wins the draw over Claude Giroux.
2 minutes for boarding. Time of the penalty, 3:58.
Pass to the middle, redirected in front, scores! Tavares gets his own rebound, 3-1 lead.
Well, that took all of 9 seconds, and it's the little things that the Senators are losing here, and well, it's not so little. It's a face-off win again by Toronto. I mentioned they had won 57% of the draws. They win this face-off with ease and gain control of the puck. Shot comes through, it gets deflected off Tavares into the chest of Linus Ullmark, but before he could react to get himself square again, Tavares is on it and pokes this by him. He got his own rebound basically and beat Ullmark low glove side this time, and it's a 3-1 Toronto lead. That's a huge goal. The Senators have 2 shots on goal this period, 2 when it was 2-1, and both were point-blank chances to tie the hockey game. Stolars denies. Toronto comes back down on a power play and makes it a 3-1 game.
So the Leafs now with 3 goals on just 8 shots in this game, but they have been very opportunistic. Off the face-off again. Leafs put it inside the zone. Lott dumps it in. Puck along the boards, and Batherson clears it back out to center. At center now. Puck is heaved high in the air by Benoit. Back into the Ottawa end. Jensen back to the net. Tried to get it to Shabbat. Got bound up though. Now Shabbat chips it to the boards. Perron ties up his man. Shabbat again sends the puck ahead. Now Ottawa breaks it out as Jensen airmails it back down to the Leaf zone. Puck is gloved to the boards as Cousins tries to knock Benoit off the puck. Puck is sent back out to center. Here's Perron dumping it back into his zone end for Matten Palo. His lead pass to the line for Cousins interrupted by Ekman Larsson. And now here's Holmberg back with it. Right side of the Ottawa line. Dumps it to the corner. Here's Shabbat. Shovels it around the boards in Giroux. Steers the puck ahead. Can't get it out. On the other side again, here's Shabbat. Through the middle of the ice, and now Giroux tries to weave it across, and his pass hits a skate. And then again, Ottawa loses possession. Tanev from center. Heaves it back down inside the zone. Sanderson steers the puck ahead, and Ottawa breaks it out. Lead pass to the line. Here's Brady Tkachuk. Gives it back. Stützle inside. Loses the puck. It's cleared off the boards. Back to center as Tkachuk dives to try and hold it in, but can't. Offside the call and the face-off back outside the zone. This game brought to you in part by Audi Ottawa, Audi City Ottawa.
Yeah, here in the building, another chant that Brady sucks.
And the Leafs feed is back.
We'll hear all about that on Thursday night at Canadian Tire Center.
Or not.
Second 2-goal lead for Toronto in this hockey game, so needless to say, I'll be Captain Obvious again and say next goal is huge in the contest.
Thank you, Captain.
You're welcome.
Mitch Marner
Still
with a goal
on
and
Ottawa
helper in
feed.
this game so far. Back to the point here, Sanderson whips it across. Zub throws it in front, knocked down, and Zub throws it in front, knocked down, and the pass whips it across. Zub throws it in front, knocked down, and the pass intended for Pinto hit him in the skate. Is Ridley Gregg. Tried to send it back for Amadio. And then behind the play, Ridley Gregg is going to take a penalty here as he was hit, and then he retaliated. Ekman Larsson is down, and the trainer's coming over the boards. And I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I believe John Tavares is leaking a bit in the corner, so he gets up. He seems to be okay. No, not leaking. He's not bleeding at all, so just shaken up somehow.
Well, Ridley Gregg's heading to the penalty box.
Shaken up somehow. Let's see it.
Brady Tkachuk is going over to talk to the officials. They're having a discussion here, Dean, and they may be thinking that maybe this is more than just 2 minutes.
Cross-check in the
Tavares
face.
came in to make a check, and Gregg got his stick up, caught him in the chin area and the side of the head. It's clearly a cross-checking penalty, without question. Tavares is up and okay, but
Doesn't mean it's not a penalty.
officials are really discussing this. We're going to listen
Because
to
it's a headshot.
what Garrett Rank has to say.
Ottawa, number 71, has been assessed a 5-minute major.
Well, at least they can review it now and see if it is.
This is a 5-minute major.
I don't know the rule book that in depth, but if you get someone in the head with a cross check, I believe it's not just a cross check.
Well, if it is in the 5 stands, don't forget that is a 5-minute continuous power play for the Leafs. If they score, it does not end. It's 5 continuous minutes of power play time.
Make some noise, Leafs
Now, when
fans.
they go to review, that means they've established that it's 5, and if it is 5, it's 5 again. They can also look at it and downgrade to a better number or downgrade to a simple number. So we'll see if they do. They've already established that it's 5 again, and we'll see if it goes down from the changes that they made in the offseason was allowing the officials to review it. I mean, it's a fast game, right? Sometimes
Maybe not the game, but definitely the 5.
After video review, Ottawa, number 71, has been assessed a 2-minute minor penalty for cross-check.
So it goes from being a 5-minute penalty and a game ejection
like I said, I don't know the
down
rules.
to a double minor. And then
Pretty sure
down
that
to a
Matthews
simple
cross-checked
minor
somebody in the face
cross-checking.
before and got
And I think
suspended for a
probably
bunch of
the biggest
games.
reason was he did not plan to do it. It was a reaction
Oh, he
from
didn't
being
plan to
checked
do
and
it.
somebody going to
Okay.
hit him
Well, I
high.
guess he
And
didn't.
he hit him high back. So I think that's why it's gone from being a 5 in a game to a simple minor penalty.
Well, this could be a huge turning point in the hockey
Yeah, I'm
game.
not saying he meant to do
Needless
it,
say,
but-
it's another power play for Toronto. They needed 9 seconds.
Hopefully
to
John's
score
okay and we can make use of this
their
power
first
play.
goal.
Go
Make
Leafs
it a
go.
3-1 game. Face-off will be to the right to Linus Ullmark.
Penalty kill brought to you by Alpine Credits. Claude Giroux wins the draw. Puck in behind the net. Center around the boards. Back down ice by Thomas Chabot.
Got a good start here. Ottawa will kill the first 9 seconds of this one.
Back to center with it now. Here's Nylander to the line. Cross to Matthews along the boards for Nyes. Loses the puck and it's back out to center. Here's Highmore. Carries it to the line and he gets wiped out at the line. Here's Giroux though. Drops it back to his own end to waste some time. Sanderson hurries back to pick it up. Now off the boards. Back down ice once again. In the neutral zone now. Here's Tavares to the line. Carries it in, goes to the wing for Nylander. Puck is knocked away from him by Pinto, who slaps it back out and down to the Toronto end.
Gaudette replacing Ridley Gregg on the penalty kill pairing with Shane Pinto.
Willie.
Minute gone, minute to go in this Ottawa penalty. Clearing the tip by Pinto fails. And here's Nylander along the boards. Nylander goes low, Nyes in front for the bang play, and Tavares gets a piece of it. Puck comes free to the corner. And a penalty call is on the way against Gaudette. As he cross-checked Matthews into the corner and then gives him a punch. Gaudette is going to go, and there's going to be 44 seconds of 5-on-3 power play time for the Leafs, and they are drooling in anticipation.
Well, it's drooling and unraveling, and the Senators need to compose themselves here, Dean. This is all about composure, and right now the Senators are losing theirs. Brady Tkachuk again wanting to talk to the officials.
Ottawa penalty, number 81, 2 minutes, cross-checking.
Cross-checking goes to Gaudette. Brady now gets a chance to speak. Yeah, from behind, close to the boards here against the star player. It's going to get called every time, whether you like it or not. Matthews got upended. Cross-check from behind here, and
Toronto has called a timeout to try and map out a plan to take immediate advantage of this 5-on-3. And of course, the penalty kill, as always, brought to you by Alpine Credit. So right now they are mapping out a strategy because obviously they want to try and get 2. They want to get 1 before the first power play comes to an end so they can be on the power play successively twice.
well, the Senators have done a terrific job killing the first 1 minute and 16 seconds of Ridley Gregg's 2-minute cross-checking penalty. But it's just extra work here now with 12:44 to go in the second period. The Leafs with a 3-1 lead thanks to John Tavares' goal from Nylander and Marner at 4:07. That was a power play goal. And Ottawa, that came just after Ottawa had 2 glorious opportunities in the first 4 minutes of the second period to tie this game. Anthony Stolar's large shots are now 15-9 favoring Ottawa. Face off to the right of who should be the best penalty killer here in this 5-on-3. Linus Ullmark settles in.
Face-off, scores! Nylander off the face-off.
Willie.
Stay on the power play.
Well, he scored 45 this season, including 12 with the man advantage. Not sure how many of those might have been on the 5.
Oh yeah, Willie. Wow.
The face-off win for Toronto, and Linus gets blown by blocker side this time. I think it was Austin Matthews he was settling in the face-off circle
4-1, yeah.
to the left of Ullmark, and no doubt peripheral vision would Ullmark would have seen Austin Matthews with the stick high in the air and waiting for in anticipation a potential pass from Nylander, and there was hesitation perhaps from Ullmark to get completely square to the puck in anticipation of having to perhaps move laterally from right to left. He didn't have to, well, he didn't move the right way because this one went low blocker side, 4-1 Toronto leads. They remain in the power play.
Leafs have now scored 4 on 10 shots.
That's not playoff winning goaltending right there. But they have been glorious chances here too for Toronto.
Again, this power play, or penalty kill rather, brought to you by Alpine Credits as Matthews re-enters the zone. Here's Marner, sends it to the boards again for Nylander. His shot, that one goes off the shoulder of Allmark, back to the point. Matthews to Marner on the point. Gets it across to Tavares with a shot. Blocker saved by Allmark. To the corner, puck along the boards. Pinto takes a slap at it, can't get it out.
Where are those
Here's
fans
Nylander,
at?
in behind
Make
the
some
net.
noise.
Nylander up the other side with it. Sweeps it back to the point. Marner to Nylander. Goes low, goal, no chance, knocked down. Puck is free, steered to the boards, but not out by Ridley Gray. Marner tries to send a puck in front, it's knocked down, but not out. Now again to Tavares, his shot, knocked down by Ullman.
These are just, look what hit me saves here. He's not moving at all. He's not seeing anything.
To the corner, Matthews on the goal line. Matthews sends a shot in. Allmark takes it in the face. Matthews again. Cuts through. His shot goes off a leg. Pinto clears it back out. 30 seconds to go in the Toronto power play.
Honest to goodness, Dean, there were two shots that Linus had no clue where they were coming from, and they just, fortunately for him, just hit him.
Leafs back to the line and in. Back to the net. Puck sent around the boards and back down ice by Shabbat. Leafs will not get another full rush out of the man advantage.
Are we getting the Allmark chat? Is that
As
over here?
Burnett is back out now. Puck is cleared along the boards, and the Leafs hold it in. Here's Robertson, and he gets blown apart by Jensen back to the point. Here's a chance by OEL. Save is made. Allmark gloves it and then slashes Domi on his way by. 4-1, Leafs lead here in period number 2 with 10:38 remaining. And a face-off when we come back. You're listening to Sens Hockey on the team.
Dang. 4-1. 4-1. The fourth line really opened the game up with Lorentz and Lawton and Yarncrook. My opinion anyways. They really opened up the game and set the tone, and Ottawa started hot too and had a lot of shots. Seems to be a theme with the Leafs this year, giving up a lot of shots. As long as those shots are on the outside, I don't mind. Shots that the goalie could save. I'm with that. Enjoying the game, guys? Whether you're watching along on a television or just listening as we watch here and chill out. I appreciate you. Go Leafs, go. So now we're about halfway through the game, I guess. It's time to lock it down. I prefer the Leafs don't give up more than a goal or two every game. Obviously, any team would say that.
Shots are 15-14 favoring the Senators with 10:38 to go in this second
The
period.
Leafs pick the shots back up.
First 9.5 minutes for Ottawa. They've missed opportunities in the offensive zone on the two shots that they have. Glorious chances to tie the hockey game. The Leafs come back down. They get two power play goals, back-to-back power play goals from Tavares and Nylander. They've opened up a 4-1 lead. Senators need to get some composure back into their game.
Puck in the corner, Ottawa zone off the draw. McMahon tries to send it across to Domi. Amadio in to try and win it, does. Ridley Gray taps it ahead and out to center. Here's Pinto. To the line, flips the puck in, goes to get it himself. Ekman Larson puts up a screen so that his defense partner doesn't get smeared. And remember, interference does not get called in the playoffs. There's a shot by Domi from the wing, kicked out by Allmark. Here's McMahon to get it. Has to wait for someone to come and check him. Sweeps it back to the net. Here's Domi now trying to get away from Shabbat. Back along the boards. McMahon tied up by Ridley Gray. Puck in the corner. Now Nick Robertson. Cross check to the ice by Nick Jensen. Puck comes back to the point and held in. Now up to center. Lead pass to the line. Here's Amadio. Gets inside the zone. Loses the puck on entry and still has it. Goes cross ice. Brady Tkachuk with a shot and a pad save by Stolarz. Loose puck. Back to the point. There's Manpala with a shot that gets blocked on the way there. Yarncroke chops it back out to center. Trickles to the Ottawa line. Now dumped back in by Giroux. Round the boards. Puck in the corner and Tkachuk to the other side. Here's Giroux. Along the board, sends it back to the other corner. On the other side, Stutzler comes across, puts Tanev into the boards. Puck drifts all the way back down to the Ottawa end. Back in the zone net to get it. Here's Matt Powell. This game brought to you in part by the Myers Automotive Group and by... Out to center now. Here's Matt Powell. Dumps the puck down inside the Toronto end. Along the boards. Scooped back to the zone net by Carlo. Up the boards, it gets by Nyes and trickles back to the Senators end. Here's Dylan Cousins now back of his own goal. Cousins gets away from Matthews. Cousins to the wing and in. Here's Batherson. Gets in, his shot off the post.
Ooh.
Batherson chimes the iron and the puck is cleared back out to center.
That's all it gave her.
On the left side sings loudly here, Dean. Glove hand side shot from Greg Batherson.
Here's Perron in the corner. Puts it back to the net for Cousins. Cousins tries to refeed Perron. Doesn't work, but back to the point. Here's Jensen. Tries to fire it through that.
They need to lock down the defensive end now. They got enough goals to win.
Here's Batherson with it. Batherson along the boards. Drops it back. Jensen with a shot. Knocked down front. Loose puck in the high slot. Bouncing and finally cleared by Nyes. Gets to center and dumps the puck down inside the Ottawa end. Along the boards, here's Jensen with it. Sends it ahead to the line and in. Ekman Larson in his own zone to get it. Puck is cleared out to center and now back in his own end to retrieve. Here's Thomas Chabot in the neutral zone. Is flipped to the corner by Pinto. Ekman Larson back up the boards, but Pinto can't snare it. And the puck drifts back out to center. Tavares to the line and in, gets a shot gloved down by Olmark. And he will hold on for a face-off as Holmberg goes to the net. And that draws the attention of several. And now a little meeting in behind the Ottawa goal.
Well, this is all well and good, the pushing, shoving, face washing, and everything else. And just trying to get yourself involved more than anything. But you cannot get pulled from the herd and end up going into the penalty box. The Senators have given, they've made way to 3 power play opportunities for the Leafs here in this second period, and Toronto has capitalized on 2 of them, including 1 5-on-3. Let's take a break.
4-1, Toronto leads in the second. This is the TSN 1200 Ottawa Senators radio.
4-1. We're about 8 minutes left in the second, give or take. Like I was saying, in the playoffs, 4 goals should be enough to win you a hockey game. So it's time to lock it down, start playing tight. I know you start feeling like you can score and you want more goals, but the more you play on the offensive side, stop thinking defensively, the more likely you are to make a bad pass, and blow the zone, make a bad play. I'm not saying don't score, don't try to play offense, but I don't want to see a bad pass. I want to see tight checking, forechecking. Like 28 minutes from just locking it down. You've been playing the way you've been playing all season. So just do that. Just do that. You turned into Leafs Snap. Leafs Game Time Live. I'm just trying this out. See where it goes. We're doing all the Leafs playoff games in hopes that there's many. hit up the chat with a Go Leafs Go.
Has 3 shots on goal, 1 goal, and he has stung one off post in behind the glove hand side of Anthony Stolarz. It is 4-1 Toronto lead. Face off to the right of Linus Ullmark. Shots now even at 17 apiece. They were 13-5 at the end of one period of play. So 12-4 are the shots favoring the Leafs.
Since the Leafs scored their last goal to make it 4-1, they've had 7 shots. So I take that to mean, Gord, they're trying to score more.
Yes. Passing the cape over to Captain Obvious in this seat to Captain Obvious in yours.
Thank you very much. I salute you, my friend. Face off just outside the Ottawa line.
Hooking is going to be called here against Willen Nylander. Oh boy, okay. Willie Styles is heading off in the box for a hook. The puck got chipped into the Toronto bench, and
I don't like that
It
style.
was just business as usual off the Ottawa face-off. But Nylander is called for hooking. Going to have to see it on the replay. It came off the face-off, Dean, with Dylan Cousins going to the puck on the half boards. He got it and chipped it off Simon Benoit into the Toronto bench, but he had the stick of Willie Nylander in the midsection. So Ottawa now with an opportunity here with their first power play of the evening.
Off the drop, puck is chipped back to the point. Here comes Mitch Marner, short-handed, down to the Ottawa line, flips the puck across to Matthews. Austin Matthews along the boards in his own, in the Ottawa zone, sends it around the boards and on the other side. Here's McCabe to get it. Slaps it back the other way. This power play brought to you by CAA North and East Ontario. Out of his own end.
Well, first 20 seconds belong to the Leafs penalty killers.
Sanderson the line, chips it in himself, taps it back to the net. Coming in, puck along the boards and back to the point. Brady Tkachuk gets it across to Stützle. Stützle now slings it back to the point. Sanderson gets it across. There's a shot right on. Loose puck in front, steered to the corner by Järnkrok, and he clears it back down ice.
Boy, the Senators, that shot, Dean, was going about 6 feet wide. They got a break, though, that stopped out in front by, I think, Järnkrok, and the puck was there for the taking. Toronto took it.
Yep. Back out to center now. Here's Giroux down to the line and in. Gets in, drops it back for Perron. Here's Perron in the corner. Sweeps it back to the point for Chabot. Chabot, top of the circle. Here's Perron. Perron has Nyes all over him. Drops it back. Here's Zetterlund. Cross ice. Giroux knocks it down. His shot right on. Loose puck back in front. A blocker save from Stolarz off a one-timer from Zetterlund.
Can't buy a break here offensively.
In behind the net, Carlo gets swarmed, holds onto the puck, finally gets it across, and Benmo with a chance to get it out. Up the boards and does, push it past Chabot and back out. Chabot back into his own end, 20 seconds to go in the Ottawa power play. Here's Giroux. Fires it back in, along the boards, Brady Tkachuk. Tries to drop it back to the point, but the puck is cleared, not out. Held in, here's Tkachuk, his shot, misses. Back along the boards. Saved by Perron, back in front. Here's Chabot at the point, gets it across for Giroux. Fires it in, that one just missed, and it deflects up into the mesh. And a face-off in the Toronto zone just as Nylander comes out of the box.
Well, that's a good kill by Toronto, Dean. They dodged a couple of bullets here. The score remains 4-1 with 5:17 to go in this second.
You're listening to Sens Hockey on the TSN 1200.
Good kill. Couple shots, looked a little dangerous. Stolarz made a pretty big save. Good job. Good for them. It's close. Goalies go. Goalies go, 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 go. It'd be nice if Leafs radio would come back. Still stuck here on Sens radio.
One power play opportunity in the books here for the Senators. They go 0 for 1.
0 for 1.
Power play coming into postseason play ranked 11th in the NHL. They were tied with Detroit for the most power play goals in 82 games of the regular season. Dean with 64. 0 for 1 with the man advantage tonight.
Off the drop, back to the point. Here's Shabbat. Sends one through. That hits a body on the way to the net. Never actually gets to Stolarz, and the puck is cleared out by Knies. Shabbat out to center. Lead pass to the line intended for Brady Tkachuk, but he was being blocked from getting it from Tanev, so a face-off will come back down to the Senators zone. Now 5:02 to go in this second stanza.
Senators have to figure out a way to be better at the dots here, Dean. They've spent a lot of time in their own end off lost face-offs in their end. This will be Adam Gaudette up against Austin Matthews to the right of Linus Ullmark. The Leafs have won 53% of the draws to this point in the game.
Off the face-off, Gaudette wins it over Austin Matthews, and now here's Sanderson off the glass. Ahead to center, and Tim Stützle to the line. Stützle along the boards and in. Plays it back to the net. Here's Brady Tkachuk. And Tkachuk back to the point for Shabbat. His shot knocked down before it gets to the net, and the Leafs clear it back out.
Okay, right now, Adam Gaudette on the line with Stützle and Tkachuk. It wouldn't surprise me at all, Dean, if we see Fabian Zetterlund up there next.
Here's Tkachuk moving in. His shot tried to go high glove, missed. Stützle along the board, shovels it back in behind the net. Brady Tkachuk gets turned around. Batherson comes in to try and clear out some space. And now Marner along the board sends the puck ahead and back out. Clevin through the middle of the ice to Perron. Along the boards for Batherson to chase. Tanev gets in there first. Here's Carlo now. Gets the puck ahead as he takes contact. Marner back to center with it. Got McMahon with him. Marner cuts against the flow, drops it off. Here's Morgan Riley to the corner. Fires a shot in that misses. Back to the point. Brandon Carlo, the former Bruin, to the corner. Rings around the boards on the other side. Here's McMahon. Flipped off his stick by Clevin, but not out. Now it's out, and Clevin through the neutral zone. Carries it to the line and in. Clevin sends it around the boards, and he takes some contact from Carlo. There's two very big men. It's like minivans colliding there. Along the boards in the neutral zone, and finally gets flipped by Carlo back down to the Ottawa end. Sanderson up on the wing for Ridley Gregg. Wicks off his stick to the corner. Here's Morgan Riley round the boards. Puck is picked up but not out. Zub holds it in. Pinto whips it to the corner. Here's Amadio in behind the net. Amadio out the other side. Throws the puck back to the point. Zub fires it in. The puck is deflected over top of the net by Ridley Gregg. Puck in behind the goal. It comes out, and Tavares now chips it ahead, but not out. Pinto holds it in. On the other side with it now. Puck is tipped ahead. Amadio cross ice. Here's Nick Jensen with it. Puts it back in the net. And around the boards, that gets it on the stick of Nylander. Down the right side, dumps the puck inside the Ottawa end. Puck back to the net. Jensen slides through to get it. Along the boards. Highmore under siege. Gets some help from Jensen, who gives him the puck back. Gets to center with it and dumps it down inside the zone. Around the boards it goes. Pinching Shabbat holds it in as Yarncrow couldn't get it out. Ekman Larson turns back the other way with it. Simone Benoit sends the puck ahead down to the Ottawa line. Gathered up inside the zone by Matten Palo. Takes a hit but throws the puck through center. It did not touch Gaudette on the way there, so icing the call. And a face-off back in the Ottawa end with 1:59 to go in period 2.
And again, an emphasis on a huge face-off. This time to the right of Linus Ullmark. And I'm just going to see what time Shabbat. Okay, everybody's in good shape as far as being on the ice in this icing call. Gaudette at 47 seconds. And it's going to be Claude Giroux taking this draw for the Senators.
Off the draw, back to the point. Here's Tanev. Works the puck to the corner. Matthews turns and fires. Save is made by Olmark, and the loose puck cleared to the corner. Highmore puts it back to the net. Now here's Madden Palo to center. Puck is deflected in. Ottawa gets their change. There's the Leafs back up to center with it. Here's Tanev. Lead pass intended for Matthews. Misses. And they say that one did touch Matthews, so no icing call. I didn't hear or see any touch, but Ekman Larson in his own zone, off the glass and back out to center. Amadio delays at the line now, fires it back in, takes a weird bounce, and bounces back towards the front of the net, but Pinto couldn't get there in time to make a play out of it. As the puck is dumped in from the wrong side of center, and this time it is an icing call against the Leafs. And a face-off back down to the left of the Toronto goal.
Well, with 68 seconds left in the period, we'll see if the Senators can do some damage here in the final minute and a half of this period compared to the first minute and a half. They had a glorious chance to tie things up, and Brady was denied on a breakaway opportunity. He tried to go 5-hole, and Stolarz made a save. Shortly after that, it was Shane Pinto with a point blanker. Stolarz came up with a massive blocker save. He also stopped Zetterlund on a power play. He's been a difference maker in this period for sure.
So shot from the point that misses from Sanderson. Back to the point again. Here's Shabbat to Sanderson. Final minute of play in the second. Another shot misses.
Close down this last minute.
Puck in the corner.
Get on that puck.
Knocks his man off the puck. Simone Benoit. Here's Stutzler with a chance, and that's a save by Stolarz as he gets the glove on it. Leafs trying to clear it. Along the boards, here's Lawton. Knocked off the puck, but he does get it back out to center. Now Lawton and Brady Tkachuk tangle, and Tkachuk gives him the mid-ice face wash. Along the boards, here's Batherson. Shovels it across ice. Sanderson moves in. His shot knocked down in front. Puck comes free as Batherson goes for it.
Penalty coming up. Interference is going to be the call. Jake Batherson's going to go off. Dean, just a decision that is not in favor of the Senators, obviously. Batherson, I thought, had a chance to just go for the puck. Well, are they going to call both guys?
Yeah, I think Tkachuk and Lawton are going to go as well for roughing.
Or is this an even upper here?
Nope. He pointed at both of them. So Ottawa will have 2 in the box. Toronto will have 1.
Power play opportunity for the Leafs. The Drake Batherson penalty. Dean just, I thought he had an opportunity to go for the puck, and he took down his man.
Ottawa 19 got 2 minutes for tripping. Ottawa number 7 and Toronto number 24, both 2 minutes each for roughing.
All right, so Lawton does his job here, and the Senators will be down 2 of their best offensive players going into the third period if there's no penalty, if there's no scoring in the final 12.6 seconds of this second period.
Wow, good trade-off for Toronto. Your 4th line center against Ottawa's 1st line left wing.
Lawton did his job. He's making Ottawa's captain here, and to start period number 3, you got 7 and 19 in the penalty box.
This penalty kill brought to you by Alpine Credits. Face out on the right of the Ottawa goal with less than 13 seconds to go.
They get the signal from the referee. Left side of the goal. Giroux is 33% of the Dodgers. Taking 6 penalties for a 6 face-off. Defense isn't even.
Sanderson clears it all the way down ice. Stolarz out to snare it. And that will do it for the period. A 3-goal lead for the Leafs after 40 minutes. And they will come back with a minute 48 of power play time to open up period number 3.
Well, a real switch. The Senators with a really good, solid first period of play, out shooting Toronto 13-5. They're down by 1. They have an opportunity to tie it early on a breakaway by Brady Tkachuk. He fails to connect. Shane Pinto had an opportunity to tie it. He failed to connect, and then the Senators got, well, they had a composure issue, and they took some penalties that cost them dearly here. Back-to-back power play goals for Toronto made it a 4-1 game, and now it's a mighty struggle ahead here with just 20 minutes left to go in this hockey game.
So here at the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, the score after 2 periods of play, the Leafs 4, the Senators 1. In a moment, the second intermission with Graham and Brad, brought to you by the Myers Automotive Group. You're listening to the TSN 1200 Ottawa Senators Radio Network.
Well, they opened it up in that period. Enjoy the show, enjoy the game. Put a little Go Leafs Go in the chat. We're just warming things up, seeing what we could do. It's game 1. It's gonna be a long playoffs, right? Enjoy the intermission break. Back to the game shortly.
Carry over to the third period. This game's brought to you in part by Capital Upfitters and Protective Coatings. Coming up, it's the TSN 1200 Senior Bear Barbecue out of town scoreboard. And we'll analyze the second period with Brad Smith. This is Sens Hockey on the TSN 1200 Ottawa Senators Radio Network.
Breaking story from Alpine News Network. Chan owns a home.
what's given, you take what's there. He still needs to play with the puck. He wants to create offense. I don't mind it. You're asking these guys, playoffs are different. It's all they hear. You're going to amp it up a little bit. He's done that. Is it a little too much? You know, probably some video.
F1 on the forecheck. He doesn't need to hit guys as F1 on the forecheck. For me, he needs to go in there and wait for the puck to go one way and then try to get it back. You watch him, he hits F1, he hits the D-man, big hit, and then he's tired. And then he's trying to get back in the
There's a little bit of balance. I don't hate it. You got a young kid like that. It's his first game. You like to compete. You like the intensity. But they'll find that balance as the series goes on.
Do you feel included, Kel?
Yeah.
is 15-2 in the second, but they were outscored 2-0. And Ottawa did have its chances. Brady Tkachuk in particular, minute 15 into the hockey game, had a breakaway, and Anthony Stolars came up large. With about 3 minutes gone in the period, Shane Pinto had an opportunity, and again, Anthony Stolars came up large.
I mean, 15-2 in the second period for hits for Ottawa, but like overall it's 21-20 or 22-21, I think, for Toronto. So Ottawa didn't really do that well in the first period with hits. Just saying, if you want to frame it. Toronto did well in the first, and Ottawa did well in the second with hits. But the score is where it matters, and the defense is what's important. Let's go, Leafs, go. Take it back into the second period, or third period. Leafs go.
As they start the third period, Marner bringing it to the red line and into the zone. Works along the boards, tried to play it back along the wall and got it into the corner, but had it knocked away. And it comes to center ice, and Nylander is there to Matthews. Matthews circles back to his own blue line. Leaves for Willie. Nylander to center. He'll hit the line and in, but had it knocked off his stick, and it is shot down the ice. Then Nylander is...
Boy, Ridley Gray gave him a little extra shot.
Sure did. He fell right on top of his head. Matthews coming out of his own end. Straight up ice to center on the left wing for Knies. Knies tried to play it back to the blue line, but it was intercepted. And it is shot on a bounce down wide of the goal.
I mean, I'm sure Ottawa knows getting at Willie
Highmore in the corner, now being chased by Marner.
is easy to do if you get physical with him.
All the way back out at center ice, and Shabbat
Or has been that way in the past.
Nick Jensen in on the right side, plays to the side of the goal, played off a stick, and it's going to carry him all the way back into Ottawa territory.
A little bit of a lackluster start for the Leafs here.
Change on the power play. Oliver Ekman-Larsson misses Pinto with a hit. The puck goes
We are
around
back on
of
the
net
Leafs
for Morgan
broadcast.
Riley. Riley's going to whip it around back of the goal again and find Oliver Ekman-Larsson, but only 10 seconds remain in the power play. Domi hits the line and in on the right side into the slot and got a shot away, but it went off his stick and went harmlessly wide. Robertson now back to the point, and Riley will have to hurry. He did, and the shot went just off a body wide of the Ottawa goal as the penalty is expired. Riley must have eyes in the back of his head because he got rid of that hurry knowing someone was coming out of the box. He has it again on the near boards for Domi. Back to the point it'll go. Riley exchanging it with his defense partner. Now it got a shot away and it is gloved by Olmark. And he will stop play and bring a face-off in the Ottawa zone.
Ottawa Senators pretty aggressive right out of the chute here on the penalty kill. That's where you almost wonder there are times like this, 3-goal lead in the third period on the power play, and you still go with the 5 forwards. I mean, I understand to make it 5-1, you put the game away, but there is sort of that hopeful mentality that
play defense.
To give up the shorthanded one.
Cannot give up the shorthanded goal. Gotta play smart.
By Ottawa, played out into the center ice area. Batherson will get it into the Toronto end. Lawton ringing the boards with it, and it is chipped by Yarncrook to get it out. Up on the wing it goes for Lawton. He'll backhand it down into the corner. Yarncrook goes in after it, but takes his man out of the play, but can't come up with the puck. Dylan Cousins will get to center and flip it in. Linus Olmark has now given up
4 or more goals in 6 of his 10 career starts in the playoffs.
His last start was a 7-5 loss to the Florida Panthers. All of his playoff experience coming with Boston.
Minus oof mark.
Before that, yep. Here's Jensen for the Sens, got to the red line and swings it around the boards. Tanev sends it back from whence it came. Sens send a shot to the net off the glove of Stolarz. Tanev settling things down nicely, gets it up on the wing for Marner. Marner stick handles away from one to find Jake McCabe. McCabe a lead pass for Knies. He is drilled from behind by Thomas Chabot, who is heading to the bench. Nick Jensen back of the Ottawa goal. Lacey getting a change in as well. Jensen, a pass in across the line, goes into the corner. Good hit there by Benoit. Puck comes back on the near boards for Pinto. Shane Pinto around the boards, and there's going to be a penalty here to Toronto. Zoom into the slot, a shot that was blocked. The rebound stopped again by Stolarz. Centering pass, they score. Senators cut the lead in half. 4 minutes into third period play.
And it's Ridley Gregg that jumped on the loose puck. So Ottawa just keep hammering it towards the net and eventually found a spot. It started by a point shot off a skate. Rebound went to Michael Amadio. And Amadio tries to get it to the net and eventually bounces out middle of the ice to Ridley Gregg.
What was the penalty going to be for? Did you see anything?
No, that's, I mean, similar to the Nylander one, Joe, where a bit of a mystery, but a lot of time left for the Ottawa Senators. Who'll come out here with a little more purpose, and the Leafs have not been as focused.
Nope.
Joe here to start the third.
Played down into the Ottawa zone.
You can't be thinking that the Sens are going to stop here. You have to play this next 20 minutes with tightness. Get on the pucks, finish your checks, get on the forecheck, smart passes, don't take risks. It's not cookie night. It's not treat night. This isn't Halloween. It's not time to shoot the lights out. You have enough goals to win the game, buckle down, and play some Berube style hockey.
Energy off of that. But what you also notice on that Leaf power play is how aggressive the Ottawa Senators were. Right? This wasn't sit back in the box. They were forcing the Leafs all areas of the ice. And that continued once they got back to 5-on-5.
Guess I better put the Sens goal on the scoreboard. They earned it.
Robertson taking the draw off a face-off and got it up on the wing and poked the center ice and now brought in now on the left wing. Robertson looking back at the blue line, got it back to the point. Riley with a wrist shot. Deflection in front of the goal. And the
Morgan Riley.
did that go off? Bobby McMahon. Robert's point shot, I think, is going to find the distance.
And it looked like took a swipe at it. Nick Robertson makes a nice play, curl inside the blue line. Right wing boards threw it back to Morgan Riley. No, I think this actually goes off. An Ottawa defenseman, Joe. It does change directions. Right in front of Linus Ullmark. I thought it was McMahon.
I did too.
I think it was the Ottawa defenseman standing to the left of Linus Ullmark, and the Leafs get a huge break.
45 seconds after the Gregg goal, Morgan Riley restores the 3-goal lead.
How did Matthew Highmore that had it bounce off of number 15, the former?
Perron to the side of the goal in front. Oh, the save made by the left pad of Stolarz. Puck along the boards to the point, kept in by Cousins. To the left point, and a wrist shot is blocked away by Stolarz. And now Lorenz getting it freed up.
I'm laughing
Some bumper
because
cars down
Brandon Carlo, somebody went to hit him and ended up flying away, going in the opposite direction. Take
Look like the
that.
Blue Jays that ran into Rudy's.
Yes.
Tellez, or Rowdy Tellez the other day. Right.
There's a chance now with a shot with whistle tied by Shane Pinto. Kept in by Ottawa to Zoom. His shot deflects wide of the Leaf goal. Centering pass went off of Stolarz and it is carried to center by Nyes. Nyes will flip it down into the Ottawa zone. Nylander into the forecheck but can't come up with it. Sens get it up on the left wing side. They'll come to the red line and shoot it in. Around the boards, it's going to come to McCabe. He let it go to find Pontus Holmberg. He'll drop it back into the Toronto defense. Tanev to McCabe. McCabe up at the center for Tavares. Tavares, a high pass into the far corner. Couldn't find Marner there. Almost stolen by Pontus Holmberg, but now the Sens get it out at center, only to have it taken away by Matthews. And on the left wing, off the glove of Ullmark and wide. Good save by Ullmark there. Maybe the best save he's made of the game.
I mean, that was labeled for the far corner, and he just does get his glove on it.
Leafs have scored 5 times on 20 shots. Now, I know you and I aren't real good at math. I don't think that's a very good save percentage, Mr. Ralph.
That's about 5 goals every 20 shots, Joe.
Thank you,
Game
Tim.
1 now. Don't get too cocky.
Here's Highmore.
I got a calculator on my phone.
Oh, you are really sharp. I'll tell you, you are on your game tonight. Oliver Ekman-Larsson back of the goal. Benoit trying to play it up the wall. Did so to Robertson. His backhand didn't clear, but the Leafs get it to the line and out. Robertson to the red line. Plays it deep into Ottawa territory as Robertson getting shoved around by Fabian Zetterlund. Long lead pass has gone astray and an icing call against Ottawa with 12-12 to play in the third period. What a huge goal that from Morgan Riley.
I'll tell you something, from an Ottawa Senators standpoint, and we're only 7:48 into the third period, this is actually something to build on. And at least, as we say, come out with a flat power play. Ottawa then scores to make it 4-2. They were drawing a penalty at the time, the late penalty. And then Morgan Riley gets the gift deflection on a wrist shot from the left point to restore the 3-goal lead. And I think for Ottawa, I mean, they've had some nastiness and some jump here in the third period.
Yarn Crook back of the goal. Lawton gets it to the point, sent back into the corner for him. Lawton protects the puck well to get it back to the point again, and then a long shot in front was knocked away, and Lorenz comes away with it. To the point again, and another shot deflects off the body and wide of the Ottawa goal. The fourth line has just had a marvelous game. They have been the best line the Leafs have had on the ice.
Yeah.
Ship it in and ship it out.
Setting the tone.
Puck played to the line on the far side and just cleared by Terra on the center. Left wing boards. Nylander sends it in. Pontus Holmberg into the forecheck. Tavares trying to help out. It goes to the far wing. Amadio will play it out at center, and the Leafs have it there. Jake McCabe shooting it right back in again. Crowd hasn't lit up on Brady Tkachuk, have they? Here's a pass up on the wing for Amadio with a long shot that just missed on the far post. Kept in by Ottawa into the near corner. Riley will get there first. The veteran around back of the net for Brandon Carlo. That long reach and huge body pushes it up on the wing. Like a condor. That's a big bird, Mr. Ralph. Big wingspan, really big bird. Bigger than the one that used to be on Sesame Street.
What was his name?
Big bird. Sent down into the zone, it goes into the Ottawa.
It was a big bird. Didn't have a big wingspan though.
Marner Playing it back in the goal into the near corner.
Who needs Google when we got
That's
each
right.
other?
We got each other here. Puck back in the Toronto end, and Riley dishes it off to his defense partner. Brandon Carlo ahead, and it's tipped in over the line by Knives. Down into the corner it goes, grabbed off there by the Sens. They don't get it free. It comes in front. Matthews to the point. Benoit, far side, a shot into the chest of Omar. Off OEL, who already has a goal in this one. 9:47 to play, third period of game one. Leafs 5, Ottawa 2. You're listening to Molson Leafs.
So the Sens strike, make the game look interesting for a second. And I say a second, it was probably about 45 seconds. I don't remember. And Morgan Riley got it back. Good for Mo. Good for the Leafs. We'll see how they do in the last 10 minutes. Can they lock it down? Keep it a 5-2 game? If they can keep it at a 5-2 game, I'll call it a strong victory. If they give up any more than 2, they're really gonna have to work hard to bring this one home. You're tuned into Blue Snot. It's the Go Leafs Go remix live. We just hang out, listen to the game, check some replays, have a good time. We're just warming up.
I've wrestled with this one for a while, but I believe we've got our top 5 players of all time. Gretzky, Lemieux, or Howe, and I think the Sidney Crosby for all around play. Any discussion about it?
As to why a regional can work.
Yes, but certainly haven't had a playoff run yet. A lot of people thinking about us right now. It should be. I really like
What's
this
going on here?
Chris Patrick, the Jamison.
Back to the Ottawa stream.
Hit to the back of his head as he was falling down. It was uncalled.
Off the draw, Stutzman comes off the wall with it back to the point. Sanderson gets a shot away. Stolars makes the save. And Austin Matthews clears the puck out to center. Snap back to the line and in. Leafs clear it out. And again, here's Chabot at the line.
Tripped, trying to get into the line.
Bounce pass again to center. Tip down to the Ottawa line. And Sanderson quickly clears it out. Chabot up the boards for Stutzla. Puck runs by him. Down to the Leaf zone to get it. Stutzla comes out of the corner with it back in front. And Perron couldn't get the shot away before Tanev tied up his stick.
Stutzla between Perron and Giroux right now.
On the boards, Tanev back of the net.
I don't know if that was Matthews or Tanev. Has a good stick though.
Flips it high in the air, back down ice. And icing waved off as the puck takes a nice flat Leaf bounce. Sanderson now, up the boards to center. Sanderson down to the Leaf line and in. Gets a shot away and misses high. Goes off the glass into the mesh, and a face-off in the Leaf zone. 8:23 to go in period 3. A 5-2 lead for Toronto. We'll take a break. This is the TSN 1200.
What was going on with the Leafs radio? I'm starting to get screwy again.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Alright, looks like it's back. Back in time for a commercial break. Hey, go Leafs, go in the chat. Sitting on 8 minutes left in the game. It's really time to close it down. I don't want to see a third goal. Ottawa's going to make a push. I want to lock it down. I want to see some more of that fourth line. I like it when they jumble it up a bit at the end of the line shift and bring in a high-powered forward to play with Lawton and Lorentz. Like, yo, start with Lawton, Lorentz, and Yarncroke. Then, like, once they get a domination going in the zone, Yarncroke get off and bring in, like, Willie or Matthews or Nyes or Marner. That's what I'm saying. I like that look.
Territory, but a little too much mustard on it turns into an icing.
Thanks to Harmon. We just found that the Leafs with a goal about Friday. It's the first time that the Leafs have collected multiple defensemen scoring into the game for the first time since Game 5 of 2001. Stanley Cup playoffs against the New Jersey Devils.
Starts up, comes to center with a pass ahead for Giroux. Giroux hits the line and in. Shabbat trying to catch up to it. McCabe blocked it. It comes into the slot and Reyes Anderson doesn't shoot it. There's a shot knocked down in front of the goal and cleared back of the net by Jake McCabe. McCabe spins away from a hit, but it comes back to the point. Here is Shabbat. Blocked by Nyes. He's trying to get back up after blocking that shot. And the crowd is giving him all the help he can as it's flipped out, and Nyes will get to the bench for a rousing salute.
Good job, Nyes.
Let's see this fan base still loves the Tucker, Corson, Brian McCabe mentality of sacrificing everything, especially when it comes to the postseason. Now, is that the left hand that might have caught Matthew Nyes?
Hope he's alright.
Probably scarier than taking it off to the side of the leg, isn't it?
Yeah. Face off in the Ottawa zone after an icing. Draw one by Toronto. Nylander drops for Benoit. Shot deflected wide of the goal by Pontus Holmberg. Cleared to the line, but not out. OEL on the right side with a wrist shot that deflects into the near corner. Leafs trying to spend some time in the Ottawa end. Puck comes to center. Dylan Cousins got to the blue line. Turnover there. Here's Batherson dropping it back. Perron cuts to the middle of the ice with a shot that's blocked and a penalty coming here.
Nice to Ottawa.
I think Oliver Ekman-Larsson got
drilled to the right of the Leaf net.
Yeah.
And this is another Ottawa penalty.
Oh, wait a minute. Now Tavares is headed that way.
Wait.
Oh, no. Tavares is headed to the face-off.
Ottawa number 19, 2 minutes for cross-check.
That is the fourth penalty Ottawa has taken the Leaf end.
was a pretty big cross check.
Boy, this was just trying to be a little dirty little cheap shot. Coming in from the
Trying to drown out the music a little bit, you know? Yeah, you earned it, nice.
Last goal was in overtime, was it not? A game 5 in Boston.
The Leafs after it again. A centering pass by Domi. McMahon couldn't get it in front of
Oh, that power play is making them hurt right now.
Morgan Riley trying to force his man wide, and the shot deflects into the corner. Brandon Carlo after his man on the far side. Grabbed off by the Sens and played back to the blue line. Long shot blocked. And Robertson is able to muscle it out at center, and Domi sends it the rest of the way, and Domi taking a couple of extra shots. Here the Leafs after it in the corner, though. And McMahon couldn't get it in front of the net. Fourth line out there again for Toronto.
Yeah, Dylan Cousins, yeah, that's timid misconduct.
Hammond in the near corner in the Toronto zone. Off a stick, but it'll be an icing. No, icing waved off. The goaltender came out to play it. Send it in on a delayed offside, and it's whistled down.
We got another penalty coming up. Boy, this is going to be something Ottawa is going to have to clean up.
Yeah.
Discipline.
Ottawa, number 43, 2 minutes for high stick.
In the survey, so a lot of cross checks, high sticks. And like I said, I mean, I think there have been some positive things from Ottawa here in the third period. Yeah, this was more.
This many penalties, though, is going to bury you. It's going to bury anybody.
6-2 Leafs. Back to the power play they go. You're listening to Molson.
I mean, like, how many power plays has that been now? Like, just, teams are going to bury you if you do that. That's my opinion. Strong game from the Leafs so far. Good on Nyes. He blocked that shot. I'm sure it was a stinger. Then he came back on a power play and puts one in front of the net. Strong game so far. Ottawa's played well for most of the game, but their slip-ups have cost them. They still have a few minutes to try and get themselves at least back into this game. Try and turn some things around for the next game. And the Leafs, well, just keep doing what you're doing. Still would like to see a little bit more forechecking and hard hitting them, especially on the defensive end. Get that puck. You are listening and tuned in to Go Leafs Go Live Remix, Blue Snot. So here we go, back to the power play. 5:33 left in the third period. 5 minutes and 33 seconds left away from closing out this game. If you can get a strong finish. Like I said, I want this locked down. I don't want to see a third goal. Ottawa's very capable. Don't give it to them.
Jam it home. Tavares off the boards, gets there to get the puck free again. Back to the point, it comes in front of the net, and Omar.
Well, Omar ended up sitting on top of Matthew Nyes. Nyes got hung up on a goalpost. And Omar sat on him.
Well, he gave him a pretty good butt in, too.
Yeah. Let's say Ottawa clean up the discipline department. Part frustration.
5 minutes left in the third. Sends ringing around the boards. Matthews got over there to trap it and keep it in the zone. And then a bad pass gets by Tavares and back into the Toronto end. Nylander cruising back into his own zone. Gave it to Marner.
Now.
Nylander having difficulties with it. Finds Matthews, who comes down the left wing and in. To Nyes on the left wing boards. Tried to play it back. It comes free for Marner, but it's hooked out at center, and Ridley Gregg trying to drive against Marner. And a crash into the goal post. Down is Stolarz. Is he all right? Yes.
I mean, I think this is goalie interference.
Yeah, no shit.
He just, I don't think he's taking.
I mean, especially since we all knew it was going to happen at some point in the series.
Matthews getting it back of the net for Domi. Max couldn't come up with it. Shot out and down the ice. And Stolarz is going to wait for it to get into the trapezoidal area and leave it there. 3:56 to play in the third. 22 seconds left in the power play.
Shane Pinto and Matthew Nyes giving it to each other going to the bench.
Robertson sends it in over the line. Shabbat spun off the puck there by Domi as it comes to the right point. Walking the line, OEL into the slot. Puck in front of the goal, intercepted there, and poked to the line, but not out. Oliver Ekman-Larsson a shot, and that deflected wide. Boy, Stolarz was pounding that stick to make sure everybody knew someone was coming out of the box. Played in on the left wing, driving the net. Stutzla poke check, Johnny Bauer. Didn't do it any better. But a penalty coming to Toronto.
I think Ekman-Larsson is going to go for the trip with 3:18 to go. All right, a couple of notes. The last time the Leafs had 6 goals in a playoff series. Or is it going to be Stolarz? Is it going to be it? No, Ekman-Larsson got it. Last time the Leafs scored 6 goals in a playoff game, Joe, April 26, 2002. A 6-3 win over the New York Islanders. Last time they had 3 power play goals in a game was against the Buffalo Sabres in Game 1 of the '99 Eastern Conference Finals.
Penalty kill brought to you by your Ontario Honda dealers.
Get home ice advantage on every drive with the new Civic Hybrid, proudly built here in Ontario. Visit your Ontario Honda dealers today. 3:18 to play in the third. Second power play of the game for Ottawa. Lawton wins the face-off cleanly. And it is ripped down the ice by Kelly Armstrong. Sends back in their own end. Through center. Sanderson drops. Stutzla brings it in on the right wing for Pinto. Into the quarter for Stutzla, but a bad pass back to the blue line. Goes all the way back into Ottawa territory.
I think this is a big kill for the Leafs. Just an exclamation mark on this game.
Brought forward by Stutzla. Hits it into the corner.
Still got to finish these last 3 minutes.
Near side for Pinto. Pinto into the corner. Brandon Carlo against the boards, freed it up.
What a
and
play.
here's a great rush now coming to center ice by Pontus Holmberg. You were talking about Brandon Carlo, I think.
Oh, I mean, fends off two guys, kicks it to his stick, and then just plays it up to Holmberg to carry the puck out of the zone.
56 seconds left in the power play. Stutzla. 2:11 left to go. Third period, a 6-2 Toronto lead. Left wing boards for Perron. Back to the blue line, just kept in. Perron down at the side of the net, goes to the far half boards. Looking back for Shabbat and finding him. Shabbat near side for Giroux. Giroux holds, tried to pass it in front. They do it! Stolarz is there again! Zetterlund getting in a pushing session there with Simon Benoit. But the Leafs do such a good job of boxing out.
Yeah, and a lot of that, Joe, is when you got trust in your goaltender, let him see it. You're not afraid of the shoot. Not overstating the obvious, doing save percentage and everything else at the other end. I mean, that's not Omar. A lot of the goals he's been beaten on have been one-on-one shots. You know, it was the deflection on the Riley goal. It was a rebound on the Tavares goal. He had a number where...
Draw one by Ottawa. Shabbat off a stick, broken up. Scotty Lawton carries to the red line and just banks it down into the left wing corner. Penalty is 16 seconds left in it. Shabbat coming out, dropping it off on the right wing side for Nick Jensen. Jensen will send it around the boards to the far side. Lawton along with Tanev blocking that as it comes to the point. Shabbat can't shoot it. Penalty is over. OEL is on the ice. The Leafs get it out at center, and Lawton pushes it back into Ottawa territory.
Close it out now, guys.
Left to go. They're on their feet at Scotiabank Arena. Laid into the corner in the Toronto end. Along the boards, Robertson couldn't get it out. Blocks it now. Robertson didn't see it, but a penalty is coming to Toronto, I think. Who was that? Clevin took a healthy run at somebody. Now we got everything kind of going sideways. A couple of pushing and shoving sessions. Benoit's trying to drag one of the Senators out at center ice. If he'd like to go with him, it would be Matthew Highmore. If he does, now we got Domi trying to get at somebody.
That's Gaudette. Linesman going to try to break this up. It'll be interesting to see what the penalty was, and especially in the last minute of a game, which could lead to a suspension.
Max is being sent to the warm water and dry towels.
Is this some sort of mindset of the Ottawa Senators that these are the Leafs that everyone thought was soft in the playoffs and could be intimidated? I don't know if this is the same truth. I mean, I understand that it might have been a pretty valid argument in the past. But I think what you saw was Simon Benoit and Matthew Highmore. Or is this a Leaf penalty coming up? Oh, my apologies. It was a blocked shot and Robertson's stick came up. But then, I I think the Ottawa Senators might have evened things up here. There was a Clevin at the end.
Yeah, and then
Took a run at somebody and then did that.
got into it with Domi. And Simone Benoit and Highmore didn't want to have
Robertson. I think that's the initial call, 43.7 seconds left. Like I said, Joe, I really think penalty kill by the Leafs late. Nobody's going to look back and say, hey, remember that penalty kill they had in the 6-2 lead in the third period? So I just think there's an explanation for it. We aren't giving you an inch. We're not backing down from the game plan, I think, from Ottawa.
they're playing 60 minutes.
Yes.
Original penalty on the ice for Toronto, number 89, 2 minutes for high sticking. Ottawa, number 15, has 2 minutes for roughing. And then Toronto, number 2, 11, 25, 74, and 89 have 2 minutes for roughing. And then Ottawa, 43, 15, 22, 33, and
Are they bringing lottery? Is that the lottery? We should play those numbers tonight.
Excuse me.
just fill us in on what all of that was.
Just a sec. Can you do that again, please?
Yeah, I gotta write that down so I can play them on the lottery.
And do it with a little rhythm, like you're telling a phone number.
89, 64, 2, hike, wrong sport.
Oh, now we missed. He had a footnote at the end there that we missed. It looks like we're going to be playing 5-on-5, though.
Well, I thought he said 4 on.
Let's see. No, I'm in face off of being the lead zone.
Brandon Carlo has gone to the Leafs dressing room as well. I can't remember if this number was read off. Now they're going. About 3 of the Senators are off to the dressing room as well.
This game goes to overtime. We're playing 3-on-3 regardless, right?
Benoit's gone to the dressing room.
Just, yeah, figure it out.
And the draw won by Ottawa. Zoo gets it down into the lead bench. They're still on their feet here at Scotiabank Arena. Puck along the boards. Senators trying to come out of the corner with it. 28 seconds left. Point shot off the leg wide. Rebound in along the boards. Back to the Toronto net. Jake McCabe flipping it up on the wing, but it won't clear. Senators get it back to the point. Zoo in along the boards. That's deflected. Grabbed off by Lorenz. He gets it out at center. And then
crowd. We have criticized them and criticized them in the postseason. They were on fire from the start of this game to the finish. So I'll give them the 4th star.
Yeah, it was not reactive, as they've been accused of being, although they had plenty to react to in this one. We'll go star number 3 for the Leafs. Some huge stops, and I would still go to a turning point in this game was the breakaway save off Matthews Tkachuk by Anthony Stolarz. He stops 31-33 in goal for the Leafs, his first ever Stanley Cup playoff win. Star number 2, John Tavares, huge power play goal in the second
Tavares with the game winner.
restore the Leafs 2-goal lead. 2-point night for him, and Mitchell Marner 3 points in game 1 of this series. We can criticize the crowd. There's been a lot of criticism for the core 4, and the core 4 was pretty good on this night for the Leafs. Austin Matthews didn't score, but assists in the game. So we got the goaltending, which I think has been a concern in previous years over the last 7 or 8. And certainly they got the power play going, and the big boys showed up. And another honorable mention, the 4th line was outstanding for the Leafs. They were on to the Oliver Ekman-Larsson goal that opened the scoring, but they spent a lot of time in the offensive zone and made plays. It wasn't just chopping back and forth. They made plays that were dangerous.
So the Leafs win by a score of 6-2. And we are with you on Tuesday night when the Leafs will play game 2 here at Scotiabank Arena. You've been listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the main.
Feel the excitement of the UEFA.
Well. 6-2 victory. Feels pretty good. It's an example of what could happen. I see the key points tonight as being the 4th line. The Reds, Yarkbrook, and Lawton really set the tone in the first period and for a lot of the game. As well, the power play. Ottawa taking dumb penalties or too many penalties got them in trouble. But the Leafs were able to capitalize on those moments. And of course, getting some key saves in key moments. Strong games from a lot of players. Look forward to game 2. We're keeping it simple today. We're just warming up. We'll be back. Game 2. Tune in. Blue Snap. Go Leafs Go remix live.